Today, I have a 1995 Toyota Estima Emina. This thing is diesel powered, full-time four-wheel drive, and has the dual moonroofs. And yes, it's very, very, very strange. The Estima Emina debuted in 1992 as a slightly smaller version to the Toyota Estima. While the full-size version was available worldwide, the Emina was sold only in Japan. This Emina is 6 centimeters shorter and 11 centimeters more narrow than your typical Estima, making it easier to navigate Japan's narrow roads. But perhaps more importantly, it put it in a lower tax bracket. While the Estimas came in gas only, the Eminas came with both gas and diesel engines. Many people point out that the Estima looks like an egg, and you would think that's a negative characteristic about the design, but it's actually something that Toyota embraced. They went as far as to call it the Tensai Tamago and Egusadun Estima. Coming to the front, this windshield is absolutely massive. Good thing it has these huge wiper blades and arms to match. This is called a judgment rod and helps you gauge the distance to the front of the car while you're driving. Boing! These tentacle-like antennas were for the satellite television, but they're no longer working. Coming to the side, much like the front windshield, these windows are absolutely massive too and give you great panoramic views from the interior. I also love the shape of these front doors. They're so bizarre, and what's crazy is that the windows are the same shape too.
Please take care not to stab yourself.
I'm just disappointed that the slide door doesn't have some crazy angles like the front doors.
Sonic boom!
I do love this color. It's called dark blue mica metallic.
Up top, the twin moonroof Eminas have a funky design.
Moving on back, this Emina has quite a bloated look, which in fairness does match the rest of the vehicle. This rear glass is pretty big too, and although this wiper might seem kind of small, it's actually pretty big in comparison to other vans. You gotta love these stickers. 交通安全、弥彦神社. You also have this lovely spoiler in case you want to hit the curves real hard in your Emina. Considering this Estima seats 8, it actually has a fair amount of trunk space, and if you need more, you can flip up the third row. Moving on inside, there's a ton going on here, but I first wanted to point out that because the windshield is so big, there's actually a lot of room between the base of the windshield and the front seats. These air vents are super cool too. They're not just in the front, but on the sides and wrapped behind you as well. And then there's the bounty of buttons. This piece right here came in either a push layout or a lever layout, this one being the push version. It is a bit complicated to use at first, but after some practice, it does get pretty fun. It reminds me of a beat maker. What's also bizarre is that the navigation is down here, meaning you have to take your eyes off the road each time you want to look at the screen. Crazier still is if you use this cup holder and you put in a couple big cups, you'll lose vision of the screen altogether. There you go. You also have to peel your eyes off the road each time you look at the clock, which is up here. What's really odd is that the door lock and the window controls are down here. The parking brake is on the driver door side, although there's no real disadvantage since it's not in the way when you get in and out of the car. This Emina has two moonroofs. The first one pops open manually, while the second one opens automatically. Voila! Typically, you'd have all the moonroof controls up front, but not in the Emina. The only controls are actually back here. And it's a bit of a faff, but you can do it while you're driving. The only problem is, in order to close it, you have to press down this close button while pushing this down. Why?
Instead, you do have automatic curtain controls, which would have been awesome if they were functional.
Moving on to the second row, it's actually pretty comfortable back here. You can recline the seat forward and backwards and also push it forward as well. What's more, you have these nice big windows, curtains for some privacy, moonroof, AC vents, and these wonderful table trays. The Japanese love to put on these cloth covers, which I'm not a big fan of the design, but I do love it when it's in the cars I buy because it's typically clean underneath.
Similar to other vans from this era, you can rotate the second row seats backwards.
To access the third row, you pull this up and forward, and it's pretty easy to get in. This seat is as far back as possible, but you know what? For a third row, it's not that bad at all.
The second and third rows recline fully flat to make a bed.
Now you can easily access the second row from the first row and vice versa because there's nothing here, although I would much prefer to have a center console.
The engine components can be found under the front seats. Both seats must be fully removed to do any serious engine work. Underneath the driver's seat is Toyota's 3CTE engine. It's an intercooled straight-four turbo diesel with about 105 horsepower.
This is the pinnacle of Toyota's 3C engine and should last a very long time if maintained regularly.
Underneath the hood, you can fill up on various fluids, change the battery, and find other components such as the radiator.
Now, let's go for a drive. Alright, driving the Estima Emina. I've driven the Town Ace, which has a very similar engine. This feels a lot heavier. However, it does accelerate better than the Town Aces. Yeah, it cruises at a decent speed and it's very comfortable actually. I'm surprised. You do feel the imperfections in the road, but it's not that bad. Even though this is supposed to be more narrow than your normal Estima, it doesn't feel like it's a small car. When you're sitting at a stoplight, it's a diesel engine and it does grumble. Yeah, the visibility is absolutely stupendous because of all these huge windows. And the windshield helps significantly. It adds to the experience. I just love this windshield. The wind noise is a little bit of a downer. I like these windows right here. Give you that little extra visibility. And because if this was blocked off, you'd have a massive blind spot on both sides. So that's great that they actually opened it up. But it does create this funky design. It's just a comfortable drive. I could see myself doing lots of miles in this. I wish the steering was a little bit lighter. That would be my biggest negative point or the drawback of the driving experience. But that's the trade-off with the full-time four-wheel drive. So what are my final thoughts on the Estima Emina? The steering is a bit heavy and the interior is really clunky and weird. But that's the experience and I personally love it. Considering that's four-wheel drive and it seats 8, it's a pretty practical car. But I understand, the egg isn't for everyone.